Hello, everyone, and welcome. This is another pick a card reading where the main subject is this upcoming Libra equinox that takes place tomorrow because I'm recording this on the 22nd and the equinox is on the 23rd of December. And this marks, from an astrological perspective, the period when the sun enters into the sign of Libra, its fall sign. And usually, equinoxes and solstices aren't important just from an astrological perspective, but they have a greater importance where the ancients knew that the veil between the worlds is especially thin around these very important astronomical, astrological uh, markings. And that is when they decided to perform their most powerful ceremonies or ask for very precise guidance because they had access to whatever is beyond the veil with greater ease. Now, just like with the energies of the new moon, an equinox is also a perfect opportunity to plant seed of intentions into the universe because it marks the karmic period of the next 3 months. So basically, the next season, depending, of course, where you are on the planet. Here in Eastern Europe, where I live, this marks the autumn period. So it is very, very symbolic and suggestive where the sun's light, externally speaking, starts to wane, starts to die out. But that means that the inner light, the inner truth, and the inner creativity, the spark of love, has to grow from within to seek us through, the autumn and winter time, the time of basically darkness, symbolically speaking. So this pick a card reading basically is trying to take a look at the next 3 months of your life, so the next karmic period, and of course, with predictions and guidance to go along with it. So, you're invited to choose between three different justice cards. And why the justice card? Because in tarot, justice card is the symbol of the sign of Libra. So, we have this one, the second one, and of course, the third one. I'm going to leave just a couple of seconds for you to make your choice, and then we'll get straight into the reading. So I'll take away these two piles, and I shall start with the first pile. But I'll have to pop the Justice card back into its deck, and let's see what the guides are showing us. What can you expect in the next 3 months? So the period after the Libra equinox. We have the Five of Swords, Seven of Cups, we have the Chariot, the Temperance in reverse position. We also had the Two of Pentacles upright, the Justice in reverse position, Two of Swords in upright position, and the Eight of Cups. Now, just before I begin the interpretation, I just need to clarify what exactly that Five of Swords represents. And we have as clarifiers, this is quite interesting, the Tower and the Wheel of Fortune. Okay, so this to me already holds a pretty clear picture. Now, that Five of Swords actually represents your own mental sphere. That represents your thoughts, your analysis. You're trying very, very strongly to interpret reality in such a way where you can have some kind of control over it. Why? Because that Seven of Cups, you're trying to lock onto. Now, this is where it can be a dream, it can be a choice, it can be a kind of option which is the gateway to your dream. It can be a desire. It can be something that you either want to have in your life and you're working on it, of course. So this has a lot to do also with the past because this, I feel it's nothing like totally new. This is something that you have been working on and are working on. This is something very, very important in your life. And that Five of Swords represents that you don't know why it hasn't progressed sufficiently. You don't know if you are doing something wrong, like, for example, a bad methodology, a bad mindset, or basically if sticking to your own path and not doing this, whatever this means to you, as other people, as others that you see, not, or actually doing it the opposite way, how you see the examples of others. You don't know if that is actually the right path or if that is the main self sabotage. Why things didn't, better said, work out as much as you hoped for in your life. Now, for some people, this might be something with life path. For others, this might be something with, career or job, but not necessarily the specific of it, but the modus operandi. For example, how to make it more prosperous, how to make it more balanced, how to make it support you, or how to make it, basically tell a story or reflect something about you. Like an example, if you are someone with a great talent, then a kind of success or a kind of stability or something should be reflected on the exterior, regardless of the measure, but it it is basically needed. While for others is a love story, a relationship, something that you missed very strongly in your life and already started your journey to getting it, embracing it. And before you could, actually start with it, you knew that you had to go through a very, very profound and powerful inner transformation because you had to embrace that version of yourself, which is powerful enough, brave enough, honest enough, and has the sufficient self belief in order to actually be able to live that reality, whatever the specifics are for you personally. Now, again, back to the Five of Swords. Now, these two clarifiers are telling me that your mind is not really sabotaging you. I know that you might have some doubtful thoughts. You might have some hair splitting tendencies where why, how, what am I doing wrong? As I said earlier, is my own unique way of doing it what I feel or what my instincts tells me the right path, or should I do like other people? Well, the thing is neither, because you see the Wheel of Fortune and the Tower. This means that it's basically divine timing, and it very little depends on you, if that even makes sense. Whatever has depended on you, I do sense that that was already either completed or faced by the tower. You know, a moment of great upheaval, or a moment when you had to lock in a powerful life change, which meant you needed to let go of very many things that gave you comfort, gave you power, gave you, you know, a kind of stability. So you're after a leap of faith, but the thing is, you can't say that the leap of faith was a mistake or it got you nowhere, because that is totally not true. It got you very, very far away. But neither can you say that the leap of faith was already completed or it brought you to where you needed to be, because that isn't true either. You're not at this present moment yet where you need to be. Now we have that chariot there. So you're still progressing, you're still going, you're still, fast forward. But we have the temperance reversed, which means, well, on one hand, there are certain energies in your life which have not all that much to do with whatever this desire, whatever the dream, whatever the goal, whatever, the main direction of the chariot is. But those things need, without delay, or there isn't a better timing for it, those things need to be taken care of. And I do believe that right now you are in that phase of your life where you're taking care of the imbalances which stem from the past. Now, it is absolutely true that there was a moment when those imbalances were actually positive and they kept you going. For example, let me just give an example. If you're after a relocation, not having a very stable and grounded home situation, well, when you are experimenting, when you are trying out different things, when things within you are stabilizing, that's a blessing, because it doesn't hinder you, it doesn't keep you in a certain comfort. But when you're after that period, when the inner forces are, aligned, as in crystallized, they are their final version. Of course, there's never a final version, but you get what I'm saying. So then it hinders you, because then you kind of need a nest, a stability. This is just an example, you have to apply to your own unique situation. But the temperance reverse is where certain elements in your life need to be taken care of, as in put into balance. Now, what can this be? For some people, as I said, it might be a living situation. For other people, healing, as in you do need to or need it, and you're in the progress of that right now. Take a good look at a health situation or something to do with your health to prevent something while you still can, for example. But for that prevention, you either needed to change your routine, detox, or quit something, introduce something beneficial into your, like, exercise, yoga. What, for some people this is health. For other people, this is where you have to change. You have to change, or you are changing right now your inner rituals, when inner timing. Your everyday routines, when you do something, when something is more natural to you in the course of the day, or the inner flow. What are you focusing on, with great intensity, and what are you just allowing more passively to flow in your life? For other people, still, this is finances. The temperance can represent the balance between expenses and income, or your own pricing, or things that have to do with value. One way or another, regardless of how this plays out in your life, right now you're working on balancing areas of your life out which don't have a direct connection with the big goal, the big dream. But, before you embrace that big goal and big dream in a more, concrete way, because as I said, you're already very far away with that. You're not at the beginning whatsoever. Before you need to, as I said, go through this life upgrade, which may be really, really, you know, uncomfortable for many people, which may require a lot of effort, a lot of sacrifice, but one which you're not really willing to invest. Because would it be your big goal, your big dream, your journey? You would invest everything. But would it be something which doesn't seem all that important right now? Then you say, no, 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 I don't have the energy, the time, the resources. But, life doesn't give you any option right now. Then we have the Two of Pentacles. This is the goal, the stability. May this be an income issue where you get to a stable position, at least where you know that you can rely on this, this, and this, and everything plus is a blessing, or everything minus is not really a problem because next month or whatever the next period is, I'll, I'll have an income to compensate. While for other people, it's changing your status quo. Whatever this dream, this goal, this desire is, and whatever this life upgrade, whatever that means, health situation, getting out of debt, or whatever that means, that basically contributes to the status quo. Because the person who has to live that desire, that goal, that dream in a really, really, intense, immersed way has to be, has to have a certain kind of status, has to have a certain kind of balance in their life, has to have a certain kind of balance within them. For example, if you're looking for a relationship, well, then you can imagine that a lower self-esteem, or everything that you might not really like or tolerate, or things that just irk you with your own situation, any area of life, those energies might attract a person who feels sorry for you or comes with a certain kind of compassion. Absolutely. But what if that's not the person you need in your life? What if the person who you need in your life is like an equal, where it's not, the relationship shouldn't really be formed out of just feeling sorry and compassion, but an equal attraction, like this kind of balance. For other people, it's a material situation. It's not like a new partner, may that be also like an employer or a friend or a job or an associate, one-on-one alliance or any kind of contractual partner. Not that they wouldn't mind helping you out, but for some reason, you need to be equal. Your life needs to have a certain kind of balance. And why? Because otherwise, achieving your goal in a way that is relevant to you, that actually feels like you're there doing it, it's already part of your life in a total way. It would not, it would, how should I say, it would not be something to be proud of. You know what I mean? Because if there is a big imbalance in your life, then what example would you project? Maybe the example that, well, even a more vulnerable person, even whatever kind of person can achieve, yes, absolutely. But that vulnerability or the imbalance or the wound or whatever the um, theme of the imbalance is cannot stay with you permanently. Then we have the justice reversed. And that is really, really good because it means that however balance was and the flow was and justice was in your life before, now it's going to be Now it is going to be the opposite. And, if we go back to that Five of Swords, we see the Tower and the Wheel of Fortune. That usually means a big loss, a big misfortune, or event in your life that was extremely difficult for you to overcome, yet you were fully in, you were fighting, you didn't really perceive it as a misfortune in a classic sense because you knew you had to go through it. So it was never like a surprise. You kind of chose it. So basically, that left a lot of imprint on you, an imprint which sometimes is a bit sorrowful. Sometimes it is a bit, a disappointment because it was so hard. And the hardship sometimes, not always, but sometimes when your inner forces, as I said, are not very balanced, it seems like the disappointing part is predominant. That is triumphant. The disappointment eclipses everything that you achieved, that you accomplished. And maybe that is what needs to change urgently, radically, and perhaps forever. Because if there is a lie and self sabotage in your life, that's the lie. Because what you accomplished, all the triumphs, everything that you went through, it is without a shadow of a doubt. The victories, your survival, and you being able to go through that, that's what matters. That is the truth. The strength that you mustered, how it transformed you, what it did for you. So that is something that must shift without the belief of that. And this is where after justice, is reversed. After the flows in your life become the opposite, that's when the Two of Swords, and the Two of Swords is also a Libra card. Don't get me wrong, the Moon a Libra, and then we have the Eight of Cups. That's when you can finally abandon the sense of hardship, the sense of injustice, when the past truly won't have a grip on you. I know that you tried so very hard the past not to have a grip on you, and it doesn't. But that more like in a very concrete way, like this and this person who hurt me, I forgive them, etc., etc. This and that memory, I already processed what it means to me. But the feeling, how the inner being feels towards certain things, that is not all that much under your control. Exactly what I said. The sense of disappointment, the sense of hardship, the sense of a certain kind of sorrow at times. The card is not here, but I'm kind of speaking about the Five of Cups. So that has to, turn around. And because that's not under your control, only an element of divine justice and equilibrium may do that for you. And I do believe that in the next 3 months, that is what's going to happen. Uh, you finishing this, so you finishing that healing or whatever you need to balance out, then achieving a certain kind of equilibrium, but one which is grounded, one which is solid, one which, as I said, either provides income or it provides something that you provides you with something that you need, and that elevates you materially, physically, and how you know, perceive yourself as a citizen, for example, as a member of society, as an individual compared to other individuals who have the same goal and dream, etc. So that's where you'll be elevated. And the Eight of Cups is really beautiful in this sense because you abandon. It doesn't matter what was, you're moving on, you're going forward. I am inclined to just another couple of cards. So we have the Two of Wands. So exactly moving towards what you're aspiring to right now. Because the Two of Wands, the figure is just prospecting. He is just analyzing the situation, seeing if his ambitions do match the whatever is on the other side of the river or where he's aiming towards. We have the Queen of Pentacles. Exactly, growth. So for some people, this can actually mean relocation, an opportunity of relocation. Why? Because that new place, area, etc., can help you grow organically, or your business wise, your business or project or something can grow, something is more fertile, more prosperous. While for other people, this is where someone enters your life who gives you the chance, or better said, just growth, evolution. And then finally, the Ace of Wands. What you are seeking will come to you, basically. So be patient. Allow in this moment to progress on what life is screaming at you to balance out, work with it, fight the frustration, and try your hardest not to allow your inner critic, your overthinking in a sense, to start criticizing you, as in, am I doing something wrong? Is listening to my instinct wrong? Was this journey that I embarked on wrong, etc., etc. So I'm gonna now choose a few oracle cards. This deck is called Astro Tarot. It depicts astrological energies in a very, very symbolic and beautiful. Oh, okay. And another one, please. Now, both of these cards are pretty suggestive to me. I'm gonna show them. Now, both of these kind of imply that something which is just fantasy, just a dream, more ethereal than real. Like the first card depicts mermaid and the warrior. The other card, sorry, depicts a handsome young man staring into a river where a naiad or a water spirit, beautiful water spirit, is staring back at him. So this is where, in this present moment, it's really, really difficult to distinguish fantasy and illusion from divine guidance, from inner creativity, from the kind of dream that does manifest. And you might find yourself in a really difficult situation where you don't know if believing in your dream, believing that, for example, that divine justice or a turnaround of events comes, or believing that something will support you in a much greater sense than in the present moment. Again, I have to say that you've gone such a long way from that tower moment when you embark on chasing your dream, or embracing your dream, a lot of works, etc., learning everything, inner transformation. So you have a lot of that behind you. So this is where, is it a fantasy or not, is a totally different question than it was back then, 5 or 6 years ago. Why? Because you accomplished most. So in the past, and this is where the recent past, you have so very many elements where your fantasy or this can, I possibly can't accomplish this or achieve this actually happen. So this is where you're not as, how should I say, naive as you think because you have so much evidence behind you. So these cards do tell you that you do need to focus on balance and equilibrium because what you desire comes to you one way or another. The first card depicts where the mermaid is rescued by a hero. The mermaid's dream, your spirit's dream. Because this is where I think you are the mermaid in a kind of sense. And the other card represents where the two impossible lovers, because separated by worlds beyond the whale, equinox, they converse with each other, they meet each other. So again, something meets you, but in order for it to become real, you need to balance your whatever area of life is being guided right now for you to balance out. And this is another oracle set. So a guidance for pile number one, please. So this is where it says, let love be your beacon. I do believe that this kind of refers to the past, when you were in mountains of hardship and the love in your heart, love for your future, love for your dreams, love for the world, love for the divine, love for something guided you through without fail. The love in your heart was truly the beacon. So just look back at those days. Look back at, and when I say those days, it's pretty much the recent past couple of no more than 6 years, depending on each person, of course. But look back at those years and how literally your love, your desire was actually the beacon that sought you through. And that is, you're still the same being, you're still the same person. You may not feel the love in your heart as much as you did then, but why? Because a lot has accomplished already. But never, ever, ever doubt your ability, your power, your strength to love. And now, if this makes sense, what do these have in common? Love, the love of these characters was so strong that one met the mermaid, the other one the naiad. The how you call them? Water nymph. So love can do a lot of things. You know what? I think this is where the guidance truly lies. This was says catch your breath. So catch your breath, I think it's that where you're balancing out either physical body or area of life which was either sacrificed or neglected or went into chaos for the greater good back then, and now you're balancing it out. But never, ever, ever forget the power of your love, how it can shape and mold reality, and how it can just simply create even when it's impossible. So I think I'm gonna end your reading here. Thank you so much, everyone who chose the first file. Please like and share if you enjoyed it. And wishing you a very blessed Libra equinox. Until next time, bye for now. So, hello, pile number two. If I'm not mistaken, then this was your deck. I really, really hope that I'm not mistaken because otherwise I have to change the time steps around. But I think this was it. So let's pop the Justice back into its deck and begin shuffling. So we're asking the guides for predictions for the next 3 months of your life. So this autumn or spring season. So we have the world. We have the Nine of Swords. We have the Page of Cups reversed. We have the Eight of Coins. We have the Seven of Swords. Sorry. So we have the Two of Cups and the Hermit. And we have the Six of Coins reversed. And I'm inclined to just get a couple of more cards for clarity purpose. Five of Cups, Three of Coins, and the Ace of Wands. Hmm. Well, I'm getting the message, especially with that World card and the Nine of Swords, that not so long ago, maybe last year or maybe in 2021, you had a massive karmic completion in your life. Now, I'm not certain that that is something which was ultimately or seemed ultimately positive. Maybe it took you a few months or a bit of time to see things that way, but it turned out, and you know that whatever termination, closure, completion happened in your life, that was necessary and it was the key to your freedom. Now, I'm not sure if this freedom represents, Eight of Coins, professional freedom, mental freedom, emotional freedom, what kind of freedom that represents. I do sense that for some of you guys, you might have lost someone, a family member, or someone dear. And that in itself was extremely Nine of Swords, traumatic, depressive. It was very, very difficult. But at the same time, karmically speaking, that loss, or maybe the person, the soul, better said, from beyond the whale, kind of helped you with a situation or something that was hindering you all this incarnation. So regardless of how this played out. Like, for example, for some of you, could have been a divorce, ending a job or a career. It could have been leaving a country, leaving something behind. It could have been taking a leap of faith and totally getting out of your comfort zone because you had to, whatever this karmic completion was, as I said, it set you free, and only now can you perceive it as a blessing. Can you see fate's meticulous timing? And can you see the divine wisdom and benevolence in it? But at the same time, when it happened, as I said, Nine of Swords, you've been through a very potent depression, or that was when your mental sphere got such a powerful shock that you had to heal quite a lot, but not just heal. This is where it just transformed you. It reconfigured you inside and outside. But ultimately, this is where we have that eight of coins, the eight of pentacles. That was part of your mastery. That was part of your life's work. That was part of your basically professional or skill wise or mastery wise, like a transformation, like a graduation, like a big upgrade, but not just on a soul level, but on everything that you are. And for some people, I do believe that that eight of coins can also represent successfully finishing either a study, a university, maybe a cycle of your apprenticeship, but this in a literal sense for some people. Actually, really like, I don't know, a work or learning something or working for someone where that work is also like an internship or something. For some of you guys, it's literally this. For other people, it's more symbolic where you develop, so you proved something to yourself. You proved a skill, a mastery, a talent, something you might have inherited genetically or soul wise, not necessarily like physical, like material inheritance. And, that kept you occupied. And that was something that you invested a lot of energy into. Maybe I also sense for some people that work or that journey through mastery was also very important because you had to prove this to yourself. Because otherwise, whatever that loss, that termination, that karmic reset was, wouldn't really make sense. Because your freedom, that karmic freedom or emotional freedom or psychological or spiritual freedom, had to give you the chance to do this mastery. But when I say mastery, for some people it's really like down to earth, like a course or something, or resuming a study or perfecting a study that you already have. For other people, just expressing the skill, expressing the mastery, expressing the talent, doing something with it. But anyway, now we have the Seven of Swords with the Hermit and with the Six of Coins reversed. Now, this to me says that right now you're in a kind of in a stale mood, if that even makes sense. This is where everything you accomplished, everything that basically karma set you up on after that reset, after that termination, you got the hang of it, you got the essence of it, you concluded all the wisdom that you had to, and you proved to yourself everything that you wanted to, needed to. But this is where you don't see your progress, you don't see your future, you don't see where the path is leading towards next. Why? Because it's your inner forces that don't necessarily want to see. And the reason they don't want to see is because you really, really need something different in your life. Because I also get the sense that this was more like either a solo journey. It doesn't matter if you had people in your life, the hardship, the karma, the how should I say, the struggle of it was just yours and yours alone and no one else's. So in this sense, you kind of were in solo mode in your life. And for some people, this is where Seven of Swords with the Five of Cups, either society in general, the human collective, modern society, this internet culture that we are living in, or something with maybe the country, the culture you live in, is so very disappointing that you just don't see yourself growing in there. You don't see the future anymore. You don't love there's nothing in your heart. You feel like there is nothing that the community, society, or whatever, maybe humanity as a collective, There's nothing that they can offer you, and no value, no love, no passion. This is where you don't see yourself evolving anymore. But this is just an inner force. And I do believe that this phase that you're in right now, that you don't love anything, anyone, you don't see the light at the end of the tunnel. And don't get me wrong, this isn't depressive. You're not depressed. You're actually in quite a balanced state, if that makes sense. It's just your heart of hearts, your emotions telling you that I simply cannot grow in something so empty, so dead, so based on illusion, so based on smoke and mirrors. So this is a deep disappointment. And what the cards are telling you is that the hermit's path actually is leading you either this two of cups. Now, this can represent a person. If you are after a divorce, then this might be romantic, but not at first. This can also be like a soulmate, an alliance, a new friend, or an existing friend who something happens to that friend, something good ultimately. They connect to something and they drag you along. This is where a person opens up to you something else. They come either with a new initiative, a new idea, a new project, a new invitation, something which really sparks up this ace of one within you. Life all of a sudden is gonna take another, you know, outlook, another visage, another view. This is where you maybe energetically or through vibration or something like that, you're gonna enter like a new personal dimension where everything that basically darkened your view and disappointed you, simply won't disappear, but it won't matter anymore because something motivates you. You're already starting a new work, or you're investing your mastery, your skills into something new. But as I said, this person can be either it's something romantic, and if it's romantic, it will be a very strong sexual energy, the Ace of Wands. But if it's like a soulmate, like an alliance, like anything like that, like a friend, that maybe means like stepping into a new community. Maybe a friend got a land, purchased, invested into a land. And when I say land, it's physical, real, like a property, like a field or something where they, like have a eureka moment. This is what we should do, like either farming or growing something, developing something, opening a retreat, or however it can complement your mastery. And you partner up and start something new there. And that is gonna, as I said, distance you, get you away from this disappointment. Just that, I don't think that this will start in the next 3 months. Only the alliance, the idea, the initiative is gonna be born in the next 3 months. I do believe that like a actual concrete um you starting the work, so to speak, is going to be the theme of next year more than this year. But it really depends on individually. Now I'm going to choose a couple of astro tarot cards to show us the astrological picture, the energy. So I'm going to first show you the cards. So this first card is you without a shadow of a doubt. Aries and Sagittarius, Mars and Jupiter. You slaying the monster, basically. This figure is like Joan d'Arc, who has just slain a big monster. I do believe that means that karmic reset for you, where you slain the depression. You slain for some people that could have even been suicidal tendencies. So it was very severe. You slain, and that was, and maybe still is, the biggest monster in your life, in your destiny. Just that now that monster has no real. It might come back, why not? But it has, no matter how hard it tries, it just can't affect you anymore. This other card represents the energies of the Sun and Saturn, Leo and Capricorn. So this is where mastery, again, this represents that mastery in your life, where you truly toughened up. And not just, Capricorn Saturn wise, but also in your heart, you know, you truly, truly toughened up. But, Capricorn and Saturn, whatever is in around you, basically the whole world or society or whatever, you see it for what it truly is. That's why you're not really smiling right now at what you see, because you don't see the heart. You know, you see the mastery, you see a lot. What you don't see is the heart and honest love and creativity that should bind people together. And that's what really causes you that sorrow. And finally, this represents that alliance, someone knocking at your door, coming with an offer. Virgo, Mercury and Venus. Mercury and Venus, if I'm not mistaken, they actually sextile each other right now. Mercury and Venus is when, you find the right partner to start the work, problem solving. So, and let's just choose a different oracle deck. So, so we have Make a Wish and Acceptance of Love. Now, the Make a Wish, without a doubt, this is where you already achieved a lot. That Eight of Pentacles, the Virgo energy, where you worked and achieved, and that might be at a standstill because right now you don't even know what you to wish for because everything around you, you perceive it as so fake, so deceitful, so illusionary. The honesty of the heart is missing. But the acceptance of love, this is where something or someone, a situation will spark up the love in your life, in your heart. Someone will drag you out, acceptance of love, of course, from that dimension which where everything is still right now. Yet even that stillness, even that, how should I don't even know what the best possible term to describe what you're experiencing right now. Still, but it's more like you're really turned off by everything that surrounds you and everything as in a human element, society, people, the internet, everything. So you will be dragged out of that. But that has a role of its own because you see a certain kind of truth. And that truth has to sink in as well. That what you're seeing is not, just your own imagination, but it is a part of reality, a part of reality that you can no longer own. So I'm gonna leave it at this. Thank you so very much for listening. I really, really hope that you enjoyed it and you found it useful. Please like and share and subscribe if so. And wishing everyone from Pile to a very blessed Libra equinox. Until next time, bye for now. So, hello everyone who has chosen the final and third pile. Now, I must be honest, I'm not sure if this is the third pile or the second pile. I also mentioned that at the previous pile. If it's so, I'm gonna reverse the timestamps. But if I'm not mistaken, this was the third pile. So we're gonna pop the justice back into the deck and start shuffling. So we're asking the guides to show us what this upcoming next 3 months karmic cycle is going to be like for you, the main theme. And of course, guidance with it. So at first we have the Ace of Pentacles reversed, the Five of Pentacles, Two of Swords, the Sun, the Seven of Swords, King of Swords, Nine of Cups, and Four of Wands. I would like to draw a couple of clarifiers for those coin cards. So the Tower, the Star reversed. Mm. And another one. The Nine of Pentacles reversed. So that Ace of Coins reversed with the Five of Pentacles, that does suggest to me a major loss. Now, either some of you guys might have lost a home or a job, but when I say job, this is where it wasn't just the classic case of losing a job. This is where you lost a source of income or livelihood or stability that would never come back into your life. So this isn't where you just change jobs or, oh, I lost a job, no problem, I'll get to another one. This is where it was like you couldn't. Losing that was not having any income, perhaps. While for other people still, this might have been an illness, Five of Pentacles, or a period of great, great scarcity. Maybe for some of you guys, this correlated with the COVID. As in when the lockdown and businesses were really affected. So something in your life either terminated then, but it can even be before the COVID and the whole, but could also be a divorce, an end of partnership, or an end of something which left you out in the cold, abandoned, materially not backed up, or you might have felt, a state of poverty. And for some of you guys, this isn't actually financial. For some, it's financial, but for others, it's purely psychological, where either a relationship or a termination in life left you with very strong scars of self worth. This is where You might see yourself as impossible to be loved, impossible to someone to live with you. You see yourself either very inferior or impossible to have a normal partnership because of a reason, a reason which you might only know personally. But you know, that Nine of Pentacles reversed is where you're ashamed. Your Nine of Pentacles upright would be where you're really proud, not in a negative sense, but you're just pleased with how your life is, who you are, how you look like. Nine of Pentacles reversed with this tower and all that might represent where you are ashamed actually of that, or very, very withdrawn, or you think that if someone knows your situation or your past or something about you, it's gonna be full judgment. Where actually it might not be the case because look, the Two of Swords is where you're blind. You're blind to your true situation or your how you truly are alive. You know, may it be like physically, self-worth wise, relationship, love. You're totally blind to how you really are, but another person see you romantically. It's definitely not how you feel. It's actually the, or materially speaking, this is where whatever happened to you, whatever you might have lost, that means absolutely nothing. That does not matter whatsoever. Like, let's say if you don't have a job right now and you're doing not so well financially speaking, that means absolutely nothing in the sense that that does not reflect anything about you because everyone has moments of scarcity. And the other thing is the reason why you're still in, maybe some people are still in that Five of Pentacles situation while others are not. They just have the memory of it, the low self worth part of it. But regardless of your situation, you kind of needed that in life. It was like a karmic purge where, you know, just like when a crab, a lobster, or whatever crustacean you want is growing and the shell is constricted. So they need to, how should I say, mold. They need to take off the old shell and allow the new shell to harden. The problem is, I'm not quite sure that the new shell has hardened enough. For some reason, you're that type of person, maybe the archetype, where you need a lot of time when you get from chaos into stability. But when you get to stability, that stability stays with you much more time than for other people. So this is where it's not just all that bad. But this is where your sun, you see the sun card, Two of Swords, you cannot see your own light. You cannot see the, how should I say, the warm nature of your own spirit because you're a very, very warm, a very optimistic, a very cheerful person being instinctually deep down inside. That's the true you. This is where your smile, your humor, your own unique way, how you see life, and how you interpret reality when you're okay, of course. That is simply contagious. That makes you incredibly sweet. It makes you such a sweet little person. And this is where you're totally blind to your own sweetness. You hide it. You're ashamed of it. You're ashamed of something that actually makes you shine, makes you so beautiful, such a good friend, such a pleasant person to be around. And you see the Knight of Swords and Seven of Swords. This is where I do sense that right now your life is pretty much chaotic. Let me just draw a card for your present, strictly your present. Seven of Cups reversed. So you're a little bit lost. You're in between pessimism and optimism. Life is very, very dual right now. This is where you're moving, shifting out of that Five of Pentacles mode, regardless if that is material or psychological. I'm just asking the universe for, and we have the Five of Swords. So exactly a mental conflict. This is where your mental sphere does not know what is true and what is not true. It doesn't know what to focus on. That minimalism survival mode of the Five of Pentacles, thinking that, minimalism is also humbleness, and that is the only thing that you can, how should I say, carry on your back right now. So your mental sphere might be thinking that you need to be humble, minimalistic, know your place, because that is the only thing that life can give you. Smaller things. And that might be profoundly incorrect. Neither can you dream big in the sense that something that is total fantasy, something that is total illusion, because that might be actually too big for you. But this is where the message here is your mental sphere is not in the right place. I mean, I'm not telling you not to be humble, but it is very incorrect that only smaller things that you can only carry and process and work with smaller things, because that is not true. You're not giving life the chance to give you what life thinks that is worthy of you. Because as I said, deep within yourself, soul, deep within yourself, you're that sun card. You deserve. I don't want to suggest luxury, but you do deserve things which make your sun shine, which give you a certain kind of happiness. And those things are not what your mental sphere is telling you. And when I say not, I don't mean the thing. I mean the measure. It is the measure that your mental sphere is not correct about, because it wants to make it minimalistic, very, very humble, but that no longer would help you in any way, shape, and form. It needs to be something that is worthy of you, worthy of your true self, and that's the sun. So allow your mental sphere not to dissect this worth issue. Why? Because four of wands and nine of cups. The universe wants to give you something. It wants to meet you halfway. And it wants this for quite some time now. It's not today, or it's not this Libra equinox when the universe is preparing to meet you. I do believe the same situation was summer solstice, Cancer solstice, and at the same time, the same situation was at the Aries equinox. So, but it couldn't manifest in your, it tried. So you might have received promises, communication, or dreams, prophetic dreams that it's gonna be okay or something good is coming in your life, etc., etc. And it started coming, it couldn't complete. Why? Because of this mental, and it's not really sabotage, because if you want to keep something minimalistic, well, that's your choice. But the choice is no longer resonant with who you are. So this is where you need to shift that. The Empress. So if you manage to shift that, as I said, it doesn't mean do the opposite, dream of something impossible like winning the lottery and being a multimillionaire overnight, or the prince on the white horse in an instant comes to you and everything's gonna be okay. It's not like that, because you can imagine if it's prince on the white horse, well, that prince would not want to be with someone who defeats themselves so deeply. The prince would not understand. Or if it's like the material situation, like you would simply not use that kind of abundance that would come into your life. Your mental sphere would make you totally incompatible with this. So you need to shift this. You need to shift this in the sense that don't let your mental sphere quantify. Humbleness doesn't mean, I'm worthy of this, but not that. I'm worthy of things in small measure because that's the only thing I can carry and not bigger. Don't think about this. Let frequency basically decide at this moment. Because as I said, that energy will try to make a comeback at the autumn equinox as well. So in the next 3 months, it will be up to you of how much you permit to install in your life. And as I said, this energy kept on knocking on your door at other equinox and solstices as well. And it almost completed, but it couldn't because of that Five of Swords. Now let's use Astro Tarot to see what guidance it gives you. So we have quite many cards to pop out at this moment. So I'm gonna show them to you. So now to transmit their message. Well, this first card, I do believe, confirms what I said. You've been for some time now quite an unfair critic with yourself, because when I say critic, not in necessarily in a malevolent sense, but when you exaggerate with humbleness, that's already where you're not living your truth. Because if the truth within your heart of hearts is something a bit else, then forcefully humbling yourself is is not going to do anything good. And look at this other card. This is where it's the call of the siren. Exactly. This is where you believing that what you need in your life and what would be a good match to the truth in your heart, that's not a lie, that's not an illusion, that's just alchemy, that's just magic. Just don't go to the opposite of thinking that something way too, which truly would be actually way too big for you. That would be the illusion. But just believing that something which is matching and resonant to you coming into your life, even miraculously if needed, that's not a lie. That's just using your power. And as I said earlier, blocking it out with humbleness is not the right choice, but neither trying to basically change the truth in your heart to make it bigger than it really is. That's also not the good alchemy we're speaking about. Just allowing. And this is the other card. Justice and equilibrium. Exactly what I've been saying. Humbleness means something else. You are humble by nature. So you don't have to basically break down your life and your heart into low self-esteem. And this other card, now, this suggests that you do need to do something in order to start inviting the energies into your life. Whenever universe will knock again at the Libra equinox, you do need to do something concrete to let it in. Speak about yourself with not just respect, but also try and express that which is the best from you. You know, speak with yourself in an honorable way. And when I say not just speak to yourself is like the first thing you have to do, but also express it, speak it to others, either publicly or when conversing with other people. Speak about yourself with much greater respect. There is a very brave and courageous side to you. There is a very adolescent side of you. Allow that to be your ambassador and not the strict, boss that is your ruler right now. Let the adolescent out. And now some other cards, oracle cards. Be gentle with yourself. Exactly. Humbleness does not mean, in a way, self-flagellation and taking away your opportunities. And a very important message: whatever happened in the past doesn't matter anymore. It means nothing to the present self. And be in service, but to yourself. This is where serve yourself, not in an egocentric, narcissistic way, but you have that deficit and you're not serving yourself internally. One more. It says you are worth it. And that speaks. I don't need to comment on that anything else because this whole reading was about that you are truly worth it. So I'm gonna close this here. Thank you so very much for listening. If you liked and if this added any value to your life, please like and share and subscribe because that means a lot to me. And wishing everyone a blessed and magical Libra equinox. So this is where I'm gonna conclude this pick a card reading. Thank you so much everyone for being with me, for tuning in. If you enjoyed it and liked it and like to support my channel, you can donate in the PayPal link in the description below. With this being said, wishing everyone a blessed and magical Libra equinox and autumn if you're on my hemisphere. Until next time, bye for now.